Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to your reading. I'm going to spare you any long introductory speech and just say that if you would like to know more about this channel or how this works, you can read the description box below. Otherwise, I'm just going to jump straight into reading your cards here. So, over here, you have, for overall energy, you have this card, which is the Ten of Air in this deck, which correlates vaguely with the Ten of Swords in a traditional tarot deck. So this card is about, I would say, summarize it as, I guess, like ego death? Yeah, because it's about the process of individuation, like Carl Jung's idea of individuation. And as you approach towards the pinnacle of this process, it becomes quite a radical departure from, it can become quite a radical departure from the way that you act and have been acting and are expected to act in a society where you have many roles that you play, for example, different relationships that you have in job or career, all these different functions and roles that you play in the world. Often these are things that we've just sort of picked up and inherited over time, and they might not necessarily, as we become to know ourselves on a more deep level, they might not necessarily be true to our soul's fullest expression and who we really feel that we are deep down. Right? But it's not such an easy process to walk away from those things, because if you see this figure, her it's like we're only seeing her back facing to us. We're not seeing her front at all, and she's actually walking away from all of the expectations that have been placed upon her. And it's a difficult thing to do because it, even if it may feel right to you deep down on some deep level, like it could be more fulfilling or you could be doing something differently, the pressure to please and to the criticism that you will get for walking away from perhaps contractually obligated even if it's not formally written contracts, that we kind of make these social contracts with each other that we're going to fill certain roles in each other's lives. And to walk away from that is not an easy thing. And you have also in the overall energy these two, this tarantula and the fox. So the tarantula is about that, specifically that. It's about making those life choices, the many paths that you can possibly take through your life. And it's the wisdom and the of recognizing what is your dharma, what is the path, the particular way that is best suited for you to fulfill your deeper purpose of your reason for being here, right? Yeah, and with the fox, it's like I'm getting this double sense of, so in this deck specifically, the fox talks about like loyalty and commitment and the virtues of that, which there are. I'm sorry, getting tongue-tied, speaking a little too fast. I'll try and slow down. So it is a virtuous thing, like commitment to, especially to your family and loved ones and those you care about and are closely connected with. But there is a balance to be struck with also. How can you keep that same commitment with your own self? Because it's not doing your loved ones any good if you're self-sacrificing your highest potential, your dharmic path, just to fulfill contractually obligated roles, when you could potentially recreate how yeah, just a different way of relating, which is more honest to who you really are. Because also I'm getting the other meaning I'm getting from the fox is just that sense of that clever, especially when we're talking about the sense of ego, that clever self-deception that can come in, that little sneaky voice, which is maybe not even necessarily your own voice, but it's also related with the kind of fears of what could go wrong if you were to step out of the box, step out of the norms, step out of what's expected of you. Yeah. So the sense I'm getting here is that yeah, you've been getting quite exhausted fulfilling all these expectations and obligations of you, which if you're acting into roles which are not anymore aligned with who you're starting to realize that you are on a deeper level, and your soul has this urge to expand. The soul speaks in like whispers, right? So it's not going to be necessarily such an overwhelming, clear choice, because the mind can be quite a bit louder. This part of you that tries to keep control and order and the safety of the known, and keep everything in a rigid, structured format. Which that's a safety mechanism. It's a defense mechanism, protection, survival type of mechanism that we have built into us, right? But when it's become quite convoluted in this modern society where everything has become so complex, it's like this gigantic machinery of expectations and roles, and it actually can be quite exhausting to maintain the whole thing. And that's how it starts to build up. So although the soul's whisper is kind of subtle, it does start to build over time into it's not always necessarily clearly explainable, but it's this feeling of like pressure and exhaustion that it can reach a breaking point where you kind of just want to say screw it all and just drop everything. Yeah. So it builds up to that kind of point. I don't know exactly where you are in that process, but considering this is a general reading, but but also considering that this is the very first card of the story, I'm sensing that you've already built up to this point of exhaustion, and it's starting to initiate this process of transforming your life, this death and rebirth process, this death of this old identity, where you are getting to the point where you're ready to just say screw it, and I can't do this anymore. This is not working for me anymore. And despite the fact that it might be scary to move into the unknown, to move into what is completely beyond your control, to surrender the comfortability of the path that you're familiar with, or a path that's already been laid out for you by predecessors, or all these different possible things, that you're getting to the point where you're going to feel increasingly like it's time that you just choose your heart, you choose your soul, you choose what a new direction which is going to be a lot more meaningful for you. And you don't and at the beginning of that process, when you're first making that choice, you're not going to know. It takes a lot of trust. It takes that leap of faith kind of feeling, where you just have to let go of the old and let what it will fall away, let what is going to, the parts of the old life that you have that are going to stay, they need to be flexible enough to transform along with this shifting process, which is birthing this more self-realized, like individuated version of you, which is not just following roles, but is taking more control over forming yeah, forming your life in a way which satisfies your soul's yearning. Sorry, I'm getting distracted into the next cards here. I just noticed that you have in the lower line here 1, 2, 3 of fire. So it's like A, B, C. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I can't keep singing it. I don't want the copyright bots to flag this video. But yeah, that there's going to be a step of progression here, that when you finally make that decision to follow, to let this, to let go of the rules. So this could potentially be even be endings of relationships or endings of jobs or these kind of things for you. But the sense that I'm getting is that the process is going to go a bit more smoothly from it, and starting very internally. So it's going to take a lot of the first step is not to just, because you want to kind of get out ahead of this. All right, so this is what I'm trying to say. You need to get out ahead of this, because what I've said with this exhaustion is it can get to a point where you just break down. Like you've been ignoring it for too long, and the pressure builds up, and you kind of just collapse under it, and your life falls apart in a pretty messy kind of way, and you completely lose control of things, and it gets really chaotic. So the better choice is if you can. It's like when there's a saying, I might butcher this, but I'm gonna try it anyways. That try and catch God on a whisper before he catches you. They catch you. It catches you on a shout, right? So that's, if you want to avoid a massive tower moment, a massive collapse of your life, which brings even more chaos, the best thing to do is get out in front of it and embrace the soul whispers that are coming to you. So it's like talking about going internally to connect to source, and to contemplate more what alternative possibilities you could have for your life. What other ways could you change your direction a little bit here that will transform the way that you are acting in these roles, so that you can make a more smooth transition of your external life experience to something that more reflects your soul and your life's purpose. Okay, so yeah, so that's what I'm getting for you, is that if you can really go deeply into this process, this of turning in and really contemplating, it will be a healing experience for you to get more in contact with the deepest essence of yourself, your relationship with divinity, your relationship with source or God, or universe, whatever kind of words you connect best with you to understand these concepts. But the point is, that's what you're going to have to try and connect with here, to really consider what you need to let go of, and what yeah, I'm losing the thread here. I'm sorry. I must be honest with you, but I think okay, so I think the final message here is, though this is going to be like a very internal process for you, that you could really benefit from receiving some type of energy healing or energy clearing from a professional practitioner, and that might help you to get a lot more clarity on what you can let go of and how you can make this a more smooth transition of your life, and how you can, because not care so much about the judgments and the possible criticism that you might get from seemingly suddenly wanting to take your life in a completely new direction. Because you might get some resistance and some pushback from the people that are comfortable with the roles that you're playing with them now. So it might be, really benefit you to pull back and to clear your field, clear your energy as much as possible. And if you can afford to, or even using free services you can find online, they're not as personalized and not quite so strongly effective, but as a personal session would be. But it will help you to know what the next moves are and what kind of direction you need to take. Because ultimately, even if you get some help and support from some other external sources, that it's going to be, because this is your path of individuation, so it's going to be down to you to know and discern what is right for you. No one can tell you. That's kind of the problem that you've gotten into in the first place, is that all these things are built up from things you've taken on from society and from other people, and the expectations of in relation to the external world. So that is going to be what you have to really let go of. The only reason I suggested getting help from some external healing practitioner, energy healer, is that they can help you clear out anything that's blocking that from coming in for you. Okay? So I think I'm going to leave this reading here now, and you can comment down below if you need some recommendations for... I can give you recommendations for people who might be able to help you with that healing thing if you need, or some free resources potentially. And yeah, best of luck, Sagittarius. Bye.